right? Because a lot of the other stuff impacts our brain, how we think about things, the impact. It's all not that, if I went and got some tests done during a physical and found out that something funky was going on, if I was diagnosed with cancer, it's not like I would not, do. See, that's I would do the Western thing, right? Surgery or chemo or whatever. But we also have to appreciate that there's other ways of seeing the world. And then the holistic system is like the above, but basically a balance, which, again, this is something I think the book is sort of promoting, that we need to sort of think about all the options. A little bit of science, a little bit of magic and religion, a little bit of a knife, a little bit of prayer. Put it all together, and you got health. Okay, why am I sick? Different perspectives again. Scientific biomedical, you're sick because something ain't right. You're abnormal. Normal. If your blood pressure is not in this range, it is low or high or low. If your temperature is here, it's abnormal. If test all these blood work it's abnormal. We have this normal range. So we create all these scientific norms, and you are sick if you ain't in those norms, even though the norms are changing, right? What used to be high blood pressure, or I guess what used to be good blood pressure is now high blood pressure. What used to be normal, I guess, is now fat. All these things constantly change. Magico-religious, God hates you. You're weak, or you did something wrong. There is a sense that if you are ill, something supernatural is going on. You did something to cause this. And I say here I'm being ethnocentric because I my own biases. I don't think God would say, I don't like you, I'm going to give you cancer. But there is sort of the magico-religious perspective. Oftentimes, they don't think about science, normality. It's a different type of sort of perception of why am I ill. Holistic, all about the balance. Too much yin, not enough yang. You're sick because you ain't balanced, which is all good. So again, my larger point, cultural competence, is that we need to appreciate all this stuff. And if I'm from the scientific biomedical belief system, I need to appreciate why I am that, but also open up my mind trying to understand these other things and try to find the best way to do things. Okay, so that was why I'm sick. How am I going to get well? Again, scientific biomedical, return to normal. These are the normals, so let's cut something out, get medicine, and again, it makes sense to me, but I'm ethnocentric. Magico-religious, I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. I'm going to wash that man right out of my hair. Which is, wasn't there a shampoo commercial with that too? I'm going to wash something. Or else, cupping the evil spirit, kill a pig. It sounds sort of funny, but a lot of people do that, and it can, because of the brain, we don't understand what the hell's going on in there. It can do some things. Get the chicken, cut the chicken's head off, and something. I don't know why voodoo like that shit. Holistic or voodoo. Naturalistic. Restoring balance through traditional practices, acupuncture, heat and herbs, folk medicine. So lots of different things. So we have different perceptions of how we get sick, different perceptions of how we're going to get ill, and different ideas about prevention. So I don't want to get sick. How do I prevent it? Western folks, we want to sustain normality. We want to get our checkups. We try to eat right, but we don't. We try to exercise, we do a little bit, then we get tired and hungry, and then we eat poorly, and then we oversleep and don't go to our checkups. Okay, others reduce stress through meditation, herbs, colon irrigating. Actually, it's from another textbook, I think. I've never had a colon irrigation, and I don't know what that is. Like a bidet or something? I don't know. I have had a colonoscopy before. I've also had an endoscopy. I'm pretty sure they didn't use the same sort of camera. Have you ever seen the little thing with Stephen Colbert when they were talking about whatever? Yeah, CVS. Now you can get a colonoscopy at CVS. Just swallow one of those throwaway cameras. Let it go through the system, and it's taking pictures all the while. And just get them up. I get the pictures. Okay. Colon irrigating. See you later, colon irrigator. Okay, some folks, Muslims all over the place, but a lot of folks rely on religion. Might rely on the Quran, for instance, using verses to try to prevent sickness. Some folks think, health is simply fated. So go smoke up and drink up. Wear a charm or something like that, you'll be fine. Again, I'm ethnocentric. Don't do anything taboo. Sometimes, folks, if you do something that is not sort of culturally sanctioned, maybe bad health will find you. And some things to consider. Do you try these? I try to meditate sometimes. And that's pretty much it. I have done some yoga before. I've also done... Have I ever shown you my little Yoda? Have I done this before? I was like... Can you see that? Yoda doing yoga. I can't do Yoda. I can't. Okay. And of course, to some, the whole idea of prevention is new. They don't even think about prevention. So, okay, other random stuff. There is a lot of research out there about religion, and I think this is very interesting. More than anything else, we do understand now that the mental attitude can help with prevention and healing. And we all know that issues of anxiety, depression, all these different things are horrible to our bodies. Psychosomatic, all these things. It's not the religion per se, right? But scientifically, going back to science, secretion of certain chemicals, the serotonin, all this stuff going on in your brain, the GABA. It's real, right? I mean, there's so much stuff about the placebo effect and like things, the research about kids who thought they were drunk but even though they were not drinking alcohol, but there was something in their neurotransmitters or whatever the hell was going on that they really were. But they weren't. So there's something there, right? And I'm not arguing that it's necessarily religion. I'm just saying that one's religious perspective, prayer, whatever, can have a real impact. And of course, though, I do tend to try to be more, you can't pray cancer away, though some people would argue you can. I think there's a little bit of, you got to bring things together. But there's lots of interesting things about religion and how it can help in the process of health. Other random stuff, there's a lot of information out there about family roles and how gender roles, for instance, might impact health, and I'll let you sort of read about it. How, for instance, if there's a culture of where females are reluctant or very modest, I mean, it makes it hard to go to the gynecologist, right? Issues of modesty and purity. Childbirth is different in different places. Some folks have lots of kids, others have like 1.2. What's that, still the average, 1.2 children or something like that? Here's my child. Here's my 0.2. Oh, there's all sorts of different things going on with this. Self-disclosure is different. Of course, we deal with language barriers, and nonverbal messages are different depending on issues of culture. Eye contact is a sign of sort of respect in Western culture, but not so much in others. So we have to understand all that stuff. Issues of formality and status. Some patient, I mean, it's just we have different perspectives of issues of formality and status depending on our culture. So I'll let you read a lot of this stuff, but it just sort of depends. As ever, don't just read the summaries, but the summaries are pretty good. As we strive to become better communicators, it is important to understand diverse perspectives and to appreciate that to some extent health and healing are cultural constructs, right? That's important. Dr. Terry told you that. Although it can be tempting to ignore or devalue ideas that differ radically from one's own, ethnocentrism undermines cultural competence. So we got to have that reflective negotiation model of cultural competence, where certainty is not the goal. Knowledge of different cultures helps us to some extent, but we cannot know all there is to know. Neither should we assume that people all act the same or are influenced by only one culture. True cultural competence involves a continual process of asking and listening both to others and to oneself. The goal is not to privilege any one perspective, but to negotiate for respectful and mutually appealing options, which is good. Yeah. So I think I need to go to the ER. Not really. So in light of all that stuff, in light of all the stuff in the chapter, here's what I'm asking you to do for this topic. Topic 6, forum. And it's getting you some practice with the little script stuff that I'm asking you to do for the third big assignment. I want you to pick a case study, one, and just sort of in a script way, tell us how you would respond. Now, you don't need to email this back to me. What I want you to do is to go to the forum page, forum 6, and say like case study 1 or case study 2. You don't need to write all this stuff down unless you want to. And then indicate how you would respond. So we got here, healthcare worker needs to explain the proper use of nose drops to someone who doesn't speak English and has never seen or used nose drops before. How are you going to do that? I don't know. It's up to you. The healthcare worker has to explain to the patient why she must undress for the examination. The patient is from a culture that highly values feminine modesty and a culture where only a woman's husband is allowed to see her undergarments and body. What do you do? I don't know. There's no easy answer. There is no one answer. Up to you. Explain to a patient who believes in the power of herbs as treatment that the herb she or he is taking is actually making him very sick or ill. Up to you. Explain to a patient who believes that he or she can only get well if there are families in the room that he or she may not have any visitors. How do you do that? Explain AIDS to a patient who has never heard of genes, cells, or germs and who has never looked into a microscope. Explain the benefits of birth control to a member of a culture that values large families. Is that it? Yeah. So pick one. These are just random things. I found them someplace. I didn't make this up. It's from some scholars of intercultural communication and health. What are you going to do in these scenarios? And again, I'm not looking for a specific thing. There is no right answer here. The only answer, the right answer, is to not be ethnocentric and say, like, you dumbass, that's not what we're wanting. How do you do this in a culturally sensitive way? How do you do it? Okay, I'll be back with more stuff later. See you later, Golden Irrigator.